Welcome to this Splash tutorial on making your writing more academic. This tutorial aims to showcase some of the common elements of academic style in writing, to explore what's meant by academic style, and to demonstrate why it's important to write in an academic way. Take a moment to think about what makes writing academic. Did you think of these words? Academic language is often cautious, objective, and formal. And this tutorial will cover each of these aspects of academic writing in turn. Let's start with formal. So to make your writing more formal, avoid contractions and avoid multiple phrasal verbs where possible. Also avoid slang, colloquialisms, and emotive language. And any imprecise terms. And finally, don't begin sentences with and, but, or so. So here's an example of a sentence that could be made more formal. What could you change to make this sentence sound more formal and therefore more academic? So these phrases here sound rather informal. Rewriting the sentence like this sounds much more formal and more appropriate to an academic assignment. Here's another example. How could this sentence be made more formal? Highlighted here are the words and phrases that make this sentence sound a little too informal. And here's how it might be written in a more formal way. And here's a third example. How might you rewrite this sentence to be more formal? Highlighted here are the problem phrases. And here's an example of how you might rewrite this sentence to make it more formal. So we can see here how making your writing more formal can help it to sound more academic. Here's an example of a paragraph which is certainly formal, but is it still good writing? Pause the video and take a moment to read through. So what do you think? Is this an example of good writing? Although this is a very formal piece of writing, it's actually very difficult to understand. The author has used lots of complex terms which won't be widely understood. So be careful to ensure that in making your writing more formal, you don't make it overcomplicated. It's still important to be very clear in your writing, even when being formal. Let's now take a look at the second aspect of academic writing, being objective. To do this, avoid personal pronouns, which include I, me, we, and you. To do this, you can use impersonal expressions. For example, it should be noted that, or it is essential that, and using passive verb forms. For example, this problem will be addressed, or this issue has been discussed. Can you make these sentences more objective and impersonal? Highlighted here are the personal pronouns we, I, and I again. Let's take a look how you might change these sentences to be more objective. Now let's move on to the third aspect of academic writing, being cautious. To achieve these, use modal verbs like may, might, can, could. These indicate possibility or probability. You can also use verbs like tend to, appear to. So cautious language includes adverbs like often, generally, probably, etc. And phrases like to a large degree, the majority of, it's likely that, is likely to, it is probable that, etc. And cautious language will also include references to specific authors or research to back up any claims you make. So here's an exercise to rewrite a section of text, paying attention to caution and objectivity. Pause the video, read this paragraph, and make a note of any problem issues that you notice. Did you note these sections? The sections highlighted in white probably need addressing before this can be considered an academic piece of work. Pause the video again and have a go at rewriting this paragraph in a more academic style. There's no one way of writing academically, but your paragraph may look something like this. The problem phrases have been addressed and replaced with more objective and cautious language. Okay, so in this tutorial, we've explored the need to be clear, concise, and precise in your writing. It's also a good idea to aim for an objective, impersonal style and avoiding the more personal I or we. Do use complete sentences and paragraphs, and avoid using contractions, colloquialisms, or slang. And ensure you are being cautious or tentative where this is appropriate. Here's some final tips. It's a really good idea to read research publications in your subject area to get an idea of the writing style used in your field. The more academic literature you read, the more accustomed you'll become to expressing your ideas in an academic way. For further support and guidance on developing your academic skills, visit www.surrey.ac.uk/splash.